This is Ignite Accra.
Do you think that there are numerous opportunities, especially in Ghana?
I think so.
Okay.
Not I think, I believe so.
Please elaborate.
Opportunities are everywhere. Whether you want to have a career in whichever industry or whichever environment that you find yourself. These opportunities, I wouldn't say in a highly competitive world, but it's a highly competitive and disruptive. That is the angle that I would expect, or I now would want to see Ghanaian youth moving into. It is not just a matter of we are two and we are looking for the best. It's a matter of, even if you are the best, if something is to happen, how would you be able to turn yourself over or around? So your mind shouldn't be, I want to go into this or I want to do this. But in whichever field I find myself, if there are uncertainties, how am I able to find myself again and then be able to still succeed? So not just being competitive, but being disruptive, to be able to still maintain and see those opportunities that exist.
Thank you very much, Akosua. Nana, do you think that, having understood from an angle that we have all these opportunities, do you think that we are daring enough as youth in Ghana?
I would say yes and no, depending on who it's under the microscope.
Please put everybody under the microscope.
So there is a lot of, I think in a very large way, our culture shapes us as a people and positions us whether to be able to access opportunities or not. And the Ghanaian culture, as most of us have known it, it's only recently that the youth is coming out. But there's been a lot of timidity and a certain respect for hierarchy, which is part of our culture, and a whole lot of things. Oh, if you are young, you can't do this. If you are, so depending on the background the person comes from, and then aside that background, their social environment, what they are exposed to, opportunities like this and other ones, it helps nurture that desire in the people to push forth. And so forums like this are very important to be a catalyst of change, to be a catalyst to awaken the desire that lies in people. For me, I like to believe that there is a huge potential for every person. There is a huge capacity for every person. We actually underutilize our minds, our brains, our potentials on a daily basis. But only if we could strive for what lies deep within, and we could strive for greater achievement. I heard somebody says, I want to be a president one day. Yours is to dream as big as possible, as far as possible. Try and compare yourselves to your peers outside of this country. Then you see that you are a small fish in a small ocean. What dreams you thought you had, people have overachieved it at even a younger age. When you do that, you are able to dream bigger. If you research and find people's achievements, you are able to, think further into your future and give yourself a very high achievement goal. Somebody says, I want to be president. So what do? From now, you live and you breathe it. You take it from today. You want to be a president. What must you do? You must check your integrity. You must check your character. You must check your track record. So you must already start putting together your track record. What must you be doing now in which in the next 10 years, when you are about to enter, seek for political position, people can reference and say that, yes, you were a good quality material to work with. So it's an active process. And until you actively participate in achieving your full potential, you're not there yet.
Right. So, Akosua, the orientation issue, originally we always had the perception of having to pursue just some specific careers in this country to be considered as an achiever or a successful person. over the last 5 years, how well do you think this notion has been shifted, and by how much do you think that our orientation has gotten better or worse, if that is the case? And what can be done better?
I think that makes sense. For our orientation, I wouldn't say yes or no, but I would put it under one umbrella and say that there are a lot of opportunities that flies around. A typical one is this. A lot of last year or last 2 years, when I came, surprisingly, I came as a speaker. But when another speaker was speaking, I was able to make my own notes. But trust me, I always say that a lot of even these stars that we see, if they had had the opportunities that Emmanuel and Co are offering to the Ghanaian youth today, they would have been far better. Somebody said, I want to be a president. I always tell my students, right from the word go, your brand becomes important. But you have Ghanaian youth that today, everything is joke. Like he wakes up in the morning, goes on Facebook, just type, today the weather is And then you have a group of friends who would come, if I get somebody, then somebody say, it's like, ama. And then it's fun. At that rate, it's fun. But trust me, if you want to be a president, that record will be pulled back in 20 years. So you have this KNUST guy who was crying over Nanama, and people brought his social media and people were trolling him, making fun. I felt bad for him. Not the relationship aspect, but this would be with him forever. Because I watched a video. I am very good with face recognition. When I see him in an interview, do you think I would be thinking about his qualification? The first thing that would strike is, this is the Nanama guy who was crying. So the things have changed, but people are not taking advantage of the new and refreshed things that are happening. There are a lot of massive open learning activities ongoing that is even free. Sometimes I go on some of these, and some of these are with top universities, Stanford, Harvard Business School, University of Penn, and they are all free. And I go on expecting to see an Anama or Pakojo or an Emmanuel, and then you go and you see all these Indian, Chinese people on taking their courses, and you ask yourself, what is happening to us? Meanwhile, we can recite all of Kofi Kinate's song, all of Shatawale's song, but as I said earlier on, we are in a disruptive environment. It is no longer even competitive. The environment we are in today, if you import things from China and you don't have a backup, you are in trouble. You know why we cannot close our schools? Because we've not even taken technology serious. Elsewhere in America, people are in homes doing assignments on computers. We are here still fighting over remote control and Paw Patrol, who should watch the TV first. So we cannot close our schools, because when we close them, where would they be? Me, my 2 kids, I can't even stay in the house with them. So where would they be? But we need to be able to move beyond just being in Ghana or in Africa and open up our minds, open up our eyes and see a lot of things. Nana Yaa said, now somebody is 21 years and we are clapping. Woo, woo, young boy in university. Seriously, people are 21 years and they are doctors. So it is so strict a rule that if your child is even 6 and they ask you, you are in what class? And the child says, I'm in class 3. Then they calculate back in their mind. 6 years in class 3. You are boring these children. Let them be kids. Really? They cannot be kids. Because elsewhere, other people are not being kids. Am I making sense? So we would be here when the experts will come, they would be directors, they will be managers, and we will still be in that middle, at most, middle income. Because for a Ghanaian, if they give him the offer letter and his pay, take-home pay is 15,000, because he's calculating this in mind that my mother was a teacher and was taking 800. So this is it. I mean, the next thing you see is a Bentley. This is it. I've arrived. I've achieved. But we need to be able to move beyond just that and take advantage of the numerous opportunities that there are. Today, look at the people in the room. And it's sad. Meanwhile, other people are just home watching Netflix. Others are home just chilling with their paddies. Others are on campus just having fun. If it were to be a makeup class, you will see all the women, they are coming to learn how to do eyebrow. All the women, you go to campus, makeup, all the women, you see them. But these opportunities, little ones, they build up. Because maybe you might never have met Nana Yaa, but through this program, you would meet her. When she's having an interview and you say, oh, we've met before at the Ignite program, there and there, her mind goes back and say, you are a serious person. But if you tell me we met at a Shatawale's concert, cool, that was entertainment, fine. So what do you have to offer? So please, as young as we are, and we are looking for these opportunities, open your eyes, open your minds. Don't think these are times that you are wasting. It would build up and it would be beneficial to you when that opportunity presents itself, because by then you would have also prepared yourself. Thank you.
I'm sure you can do a better round of applause for both panelists. Yeah, so let me come to you, Nana Yaa, again. And this time, let me hit upon the industry you have found yourself in. About 20 years of media excellence. And let's probably even come a bit down just to social media and looking at communication for social change. There are so many things that are running around on the media. In fact, we have an influx of information, so much that we don't know what to do with it. And like Akosua rightly said, there's so many schools online for free. So many of them. Forget about doing an MBA online and paying for it. There's so many courses that we can do for free, but we seem to ignore those things and rather focus on the, so to speak, junk. What do you think is the honest reason for this? Is it our mindset? Is it intentional? Is it complacency? Or is it just the order of the day for us as Ghanaian youth?
Thanks for the question. A very good and relevant question. Yes, as you rightly said, with all these years of experience in the media, and I actually started at a very young age, and looking at the influx of media, with social media even coming in, and the opportunities that it gives to us to be able to sell ourselves, sell our ideas, the digitization space and how we are underutilizing it. It is a lot of worry that some of us have observed. I would attribute it to something that I find very fundamental to every human being, being it a youth or an adult, because we start young and we reach the stages of life that we reach. And that is what I call purpose. And this is a very passionate topic of mine that I love to speak on. Have we found God's purpose for our lives? Is the first question, fundamental question that I speak on every professional stage that I have been in. Because at the end of the day, if you are open to all this information, yet you do not know how to internalize and assess this information and convert it into something meaningful that will make a change and make you stand out, then there is a problem. And that problem is innate. That problem is deeply lying in our bodies, in our minds, and in our brains. And until we discover it, it would be a pity. Until we discover it, we can only dream up to here, when we could have dreamt up to there. Finding God's purpose for your life is a very, very important and fundamental principle that each and every one of us must have. It is not enough to watch somebody's journey and desire to follow them. It is not enough to just sit down and just, for something that you watched on TV or something, then you say, oh, I'm inspired, I'm doing this. It is not enough. What is enough is for you to sit down and do a personal audit of your life. Aside your spiritual relationship with your Maker, who made you and knows all the capabilities that lies inside of you, and all the potentials that lies inside of you, and all the weapons and the skills that he has given you. Aside going on that journey with your Maker, you need to sit down and analyze yourself and say, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I do so easily? What comes so easily to me? Do I know myself? Because many a times young people do not know themselves. They think they find themselves in the comfort of their friends and in the comfort of their relationships. Somebody just decides their aim is, I need to get a boyfriend, I need to marry. Because for them, the boyfriend and the marriage completes them. As a woman or as a young man. But in this life, if you are not even a fully fulfilled person, if you don't know who you are, if you don't have a self-identity, if you are not complete by yourself, your relationship will suffer. Because you are going to look up to your partner to fill that void that lies inside of you, to fill that need that only you can fulfill. You can only be the changer of your destiny. Only you. The other person only comes in to complement. You rob off them, they also rob off you. So when you are complete, you have innate abilities of complete skills, complete talent, complete wisdom that your partner too can assess, and you too can assess. You will be financially well positioned because you fulfill yourself, that you don't have to rely on your partner and put your pressure on them. Now, when you have found your purpose, you will find that fulfillment that will suppress greed, as we find in our environment and in this country today. It will suppress a whole lot of things that will lead you astray. It will focus you on what is relevant. So when you go and sit behind the social media, you are not just going to be talking about feelings, as Akosua said, but something clicks inside of your mind, and you say, I better utilize this moment very well, because every moment of my life matters. I am walking to a certain purpose, so every step that I take must take me to that purpose. But when you don't have a purpose, you are like that ship at sea that does not have an anchor. Nothing grounds it. You are not grounded. When the wind blows, you go anywhere. But in this life, we all have our purpose. Somebody came today, they will die today. A baby dies in Kolibu, like as soon as they are born, they have stillbirth. Somebody comes into the world, they die in 20 years. Somebody comes into they die in 50 years, they die in 75 years. Somebody comes into, you see somebody's life, everything fast, then they die. Everybody is going their way. So you cannot compare yourself to somebody's life and say, oh, this person did this, this person did that, so it would also help me. It is good to be inspired by people's successes, but it is even better to have your own identity and know what works for you. It is very, very important that we take finding our purpose in this life and connecting very seriously, so that that base, kind of helps us to be able to amplify our achievements, helps us to be able to be very more efficient and productive in the very sectors that we find ourselves, in our various spaces, in our careers. That, I think, is a very fundamental challenge that we need to deal with, amongst other things.
Thank you very much, Nana Yaa. I'm sure you could do a better round of applause for her. If there's one thing you had to tell us to give us a reason to be better in life, what would it be? Akosua, so this is our last round, And so let's call it our closing remark. Something that you want to leave us with that we should never forget. What would that be?
I think personally, I don't fancy motivational talk, because I feel the uncertainties in this life is way too much. And as Nana Yaa rightly said, everybody has their own lane and their own destinies. I think what I would tell anybody or the younger me is that build yourself up to be able to face any uncertainty, because it would happen. And you do not want it to happen and you are found wanting. And what do you do to build yourself up? One, just as Nana Yaa said, be able to have a self-assessment on your purpose. 2, manage yourself in terms of how people see you, in terms of how people are able to connect to you. 3, never ever forget to partner and collaborate all the time. Make sure that you get the least opportunity you get, you are partnering with people, you are collaborating. 4, volunteer your time. There are lots of people that think that volunteerism is just going to feed people who are hungry, or your church is going to do donations in the prisons. Once you identify your core or what's your purpose, be able to give off your time in helping other people. Whether you go and teach, whether you do youth development, mentorship, coaching, whatever that you can do to be able to support. And lastly, manage the new you. It takes a lot of effort to manage yourself. If you cannot manage yourself, rightly as Nana Yaa said, you cannot attach yourself to somebody thinking that that is completion. Because now, men want good marriage, women want good marriage. Everybody is looking out for the opportunity for a better half to better you. That is why it's called better half. So I don't want anyone coming in with a piece of ring. Will you marry me then? No. Where in 5 years, where do we see ourselves? Can we put it on paper? Can we find a reason to have a point where we are together? If this A doesn't happen, what would happen to us? So that the rate of divorces would even reduce. Because at least you know your purpose, he knows his purpose, or she knows her purpose, and the two of you are coming together to be able to do amazing things in the world and go places, have fun, but still be able to achieve the purpose to which God brought you to this earth to do. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah, so Nana.
Yes.
Let's hear from you as well, on the same line, like I said.
Okay, so achieving career success and sustaining it is one thing. And building it from there into something so significant that the whole world stands out and claps is another thing. Throughout the journey, as Akosua mentioned, you'll be faced with uncertainties. We could sit here and give you a whole list of things to do. By the end of the day, when you've left here and you've gone to your various homes, you'll be faced and hit with the world's realities. One thing that is important, as part of many, is to be rugged. You need to be deeply rooted. You need to be convinced of who you are. Like I said, everything starts with the self-identity. When you have that, trust me, you are done about 80%. Because there is nothing that life will hit you that you cannot overcome. Now, the people who rise up to the top, it is not that they didn't face the same challenges that you have. In fact, everything that is happening in your life right now, whether it's emotionally, family, career, whatever, is happening before. It will happen when you are gone out of this life. And it happened before you got here. And there's nothing new under the sun. So, sit up. Young people today pamper themselves too much. Many a times I've seen people come out of universities, come in, interns, national service, they come in and you see the state they come in and it's deplorable. Character-wise, it is not there. In terms of values, you've got to have it. You've got to be ready. I was already working when I was on the University of Ghana campus. I did not have time to chitty-chat. I never had. Even when I was in senior high school, I never had because I was working alongside. I had a certain purpose. There was something that I wanted to achieve, and I gave myself certain things to achieve at a certain age. That by this I must, by this. When you do that, you don't have time to do any other thing that defocuses you. So keep your hair straight. Ground yourself. Know who you are. And nobody can take that away from you. A lot of times we cede our power to people or systems, the world systems or certain things. So somebody asks, why couldn't you do say, oh, you see the economy is not doing well. Oh, because this government is not doing well. When NDC comes, it will happen. Oh, this one, oh, that one. We so much know how to point the finger. Oh, my boss is not good. Oh, my boss hates me. Oh, this. But what we need to know is that the power to make and unmake us is in our hands. Even if the enemy comes knocking on your door and you don't give him room, or if you don't allow, what you don't allow do not happen. And you cannot give away what you don't have. So let's focus on our lives. Let's have a vision, because for lack of vision, my people perish, as the Bible says. If you have a vision and you break down that vision into goals, that in the next 3 months, I must have read a certain book. In the next 4 months, I must have developed a software. In the next 5-6 months, I should have started school because I want to progress myself. It is very important. In this day and age, if you don't know PDP, you are dead. Your career is dead. PDP is professional development. You need to have a professional development plan. You entered the company at an entry stage, or you are now going to enter a company. You need to be able to know that, okay, by this stage, I should have, okay, well, I've completed my first degree. By this stage, I should have been saving to do my master's, so that every time you are upgrading yourself or to do some training, just don't sit down and say, oh, my business must take me for training. You need to step on the edge and on top of your game, because there are people out there, companies out there looking for you. They are searching for you. When the opportunity comes knocking on your door, will you be ready? Look into what I often will do sometimes. I look at people's profiles and I say, what took them there? They did this, build that, build that. Okay, this is where I also want to go. Have I built it, build that, build that? You need to have that. Let people inspire you, but create your own space. A few other things that I would just add up before we wrap up. Akosua mentioned about volunteering. One of the greatest things I have seen in this life, and one of the biggest successes I've chalked, had come out of people that I helped. When you help people, you serve. Young people today don't want to serve. When they come into the workplace, even though they apply for internship, already they want to be paid. They forget that if they avail themselves to learn and commit themselves to stop buying the latest gadgets, because that's what brings the financial pressures. But if you focus your life that you will go hungry for the next 2 years, just so that you can learn under somebody, you can understudy somebody, then you realize that another company will come for you and give you far more that will cover for what you lost. This is how you must approach life. It is not everything that is in red and green currency. You need to be able to know value, sense it, smell it, and see it from a distance afar, so that you actively approach it. Be proactive. You cannot stay in your lane and win in your career. No way. There are in every organization, there are people gunning for people's positions. Your position is not safe. So you must be on your toe, be willing to serve, and then, the blessing will come later on and make a difference wherever you are. strive for that. That is a spirit of excellence. Let the spirit of excellence drive you, that no matter the space you find yourself, you are going to make yourself stand out. You are going to look at the key success in that area. If somebody sitting in America has achieved something, maybe they've created a software that could let rain fall, for instance, then you know that, okay, then you need to do the next prototype. You need to do the next big thing. And very importantly, as I end up, get a mentor. It is a very lonely life. Many a times we have dreams and we have visions, but we are limited by our circumstances. And as human as we are, we succumb to those circumstances sometimes. But only if you had a mentor who you could talk to, because sometimes what is wrong with you not even being able to move in your up in your business or in your career is because of an emotional problem. But when you have a mentor and you could speak to them and they could share their life experience with you and tell you you can make it, sometimes it's difficult to tell yourself I can make it. It's not an easy life. Every time I keep telling people, there's one very important principle I say: forgiveness. Because we are pitiful as a people. We come into this life and we die. Nobody knows the day they go. Nobody knows how they came in. Even when we try to remember how young we were, you can't remember when you were 5, 4, 3, 4 years, 2 years old. No. And that is the mystery that God wants you to know, that He, and He alone, is the determinant of this life. And He would give you people to guide you, because He cannot come down Himself. And this rich resources lies in your mentors. And be a good mentee. Cast away the pride. Cast away the I know. Very much a characteristic of most of the youth these days. And learn from somebody. And let their touch, light up yours, so that you can grow up to be who you want to become and achieve the success in your career. And now add to your business, because I push for entrepreneurship. Thank you.
This is Ignite Accra.